All right, what's up, everybody? We are back here again for week number 13 of Backyard Bookies. Joined with me, as always, my co-host Scott. Scott, easily our worst week of the season last week. We were terrible. How are you feeling, bud?
I don't know. It's a miracle you even bring me back on this program. Two right picks in the last 3 weeks, 2 and 10. Um, Pretty much running it 20. What 20? I can't even do math. 22% right now. It's an abomination to sports gambling. I'm embarrassed. I'm sure you're embarrassed by what we put on last week, but I don't think I'm gonna try and change it up a little bit this week. Got to do something. I'm down four. It's a miracle I'm only down four, but I'm only down four with 2 weeks to play. So got to try and get out of this hole, and hopefully I can be a little. I mean, getting one right this week is better than I did last week. So hopefully we can start there and move forward.
Hey, maybe we'll end up on one of those pages where you just fade awful gamblers. Yeah, I mean, I've been about 500 this month, and then last week only got the one right. It's been real tough sledding for us. November's just wasn't our month because we were really good in October and September. We were both doing pretty well, but it's all right. Maybe it's time to fade ourselves. Maybe the people will be ready for it this week. But what's your first one on the rebound?
Yeah, not to ruin anything that I was just about to start doing on this program. I'm going to fade myself every single pick. I was gonna say that later, but every pick I made, I feel pretty good with, and we're taking the other side. So we're gonna start with that. First game's gonna be in Minnesota. Tough place to play for Penn State this week. Got an 11.5. Right now, I'm liking Minnesota plus the points. It's just a tough game. It seems kind of like a trappy game for Penn State. Really, Penn State still hasn't really. I mean, they haven't really played many, and the ones they have played, they got beat by Ohio State. So for me, I think this is kind of a trappy game. I think it'll be pretty close. So I'm actually going to take Minnesota plus 11.5, but I'm fading myself. So I'm taking Penn State minus 11.5 in the first game. Yeah, I just know that's not going to win, so we're going to go with Penn State.
All right, I like it. You're gonna fade yourself all week, and you're gonna have another O for week.
Wouldn't that
I
be
like
great? I would
that
love
would
that.
that would just be hilarious for the program. I do like PJ Flex Group. They were playing really well towards the middle of that season. They've hit a little bit of a rough patch, losing to Rutgers pretty comfortably there. I guess it was only 7, but they were 5.5 point favorites. So maybe they're on the downswing. Penn State, like you said, no real challenges. They beat USC. That's their big road win. I guess at Wisconsin. This is a tough spot for them, but they got something to prove. Like Penn State knows they're kind of on the outside looking in, I think, when it comes down to the playoff picture. Like they're probably going to get in, but you really can't afford to slip up. You got to win comfortably. The SEC is such a logjam right now. So, all right, Penn State minus 11.5 for your boy Scuttered. I'm going to the SEC. This line has already moved from when I picked it this morning, so I know I was on the right side of this one. But we'll just go with that. We got Ole Miss going to Gainesville in the swamp against Florida. Florida coming off a massive win against LSU. LSU maybe not quite as good as we thought they were going to be, but Ole Miss big win against Georgia. They were on a bye last week, so they're coming out of that bye. I love this spot for Ole Miss. They were laying 10. It's now up to 10.5, so that gets a lot scarier over the hook. It's just this Ole Miss team is right there in the thick of it. I don't know what the tiebreaker situation is, but Ole Miss is a team that needs to start running up scores on people because they're right on the fringe of this playoff, and I think they're going to get in. I think Ole Miss is one of the best 11 teams in the country that are going to get in, maybe 12, whatever. If you want to count that G5 team up there, they've been great. Obviously, that win over Georgia. The only thing that's really going to hurt Ole Miss is that loss against Kentucky. I think Florida's just in for a letdown spot. Huge win against LSU, 11 a.m. game in the swamp. Billy Napier is going to be back, it looks like, because he's saved somewhat of the season. DJ looked better last week, obviously coming back from injury. So I'm going to ride with Ole Miss here, going to Florida.
Yeah, last two they've covered pretty handily, especially beating that Georgia team 2 weeks ago. Um, Yeah, just the LSU loss is kind of haunting them a little bit too. They've got those 2 bad losses, but otherwise, I think they're probably top 8 team in the country. And playing the Swamp's difficult, but I think they'll probably get it done. Jackson Dart's a great quarterback. Not gonna fade you on that one. I do like Ole Miss in that one.
Oh
Um,
no, I'm toast. I'm toast.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna like all your picks. Yeah, so for my second one, going with one of your teams, Army Notre Dame. Really for this one, they're playing at your stadium too, which is kind of cool. They're playing in the Bronx, um, at Yankee Stadium. We got let's see, the 14 and a half or 13 and a half. It's 14 and a half in favor of Notre Dame here. They did a pretty good damage against Navy. I kind of had that one picked out a little bit. I feel like when those armed forces teams play really, really, well, not really, really good teams, but good teams, top 10 teams, they get kind of exposed and they don't play nearly as well as they have against the other teams. They usually blow out teams because they can't figure out how to stop those the run game of Army. And also Bryson Daly's a great quarterback for Army. Um, so yeah, Notre Dame beat the crap out of Navy. The first game, Armed Forces game, 51-14. That was almost an identical spread to what this one is. This is 14 and a half. Basically saying it's the same game. So for me, I'm taking Notre Dame minus 14 and a half, which means I'm taking Army plus 14 and a half. I hate that I'm doing that, but I'm doing it. I'm hoping that maybe a neutral site or
It's
something
yeah.
makes it a little closer than 14 and a half, but in my heart I feel Notre Dame's going to cover, but the sake of this program and the sake of my points, I'm going to take Army plus 14 and a half.
Well, over the 2 touchdowns, that's a nice that little hook's gonna help you out there. Maybe you should double fade. The public 71% of the money on Army this weekend, so maybe a little double fade, if you wanna adjust there, but, Army should have a decent crowd there. West Point, New York is, they're right kinda they're hanging around. They'll have their fans there. I also have this game circled, but I'm looking at the total in this one. I'm not taking the spread in this one. I would lean Notre Dame as well. Notre Dame's been impressive, but they kind of hosed us last week against Virginia. Like Notre Dame was up 35 nothing and they gave up 3 touchdowns, I think. What was that final last week? 2 touchdowns, 35-14 to barely cover on that one at 20 and a half. So, but I like the total in this one. This is a low number, 44 and a half right now. For Notre Dame Army. Notre Dame, like you said, blew out Navy. I think Army's offense is a little bit better than Navy's. I think they can move the ball a little bit better. They did struggle last week with North Texas. So I like a garbage touchdown or two from Army, maybe a big play early. And I think Notre Dame's going to roll in this game. I think they put up, 49, 31, 51, 52, 35 the last 5 weeks. They're going to get over this small number. I think Notre Dame dominates this game probably. I am rooting for Army because it'll be pure chaos in the college football playoff if Army wins this game. But I like the total here over 44 and a half.
I mean, yeah, I think either way you put it, I think it's going to be kind of close and sort of high scoring on both teams. I'd say at least if it's a close game, it's going to be in the high 20s. I feel like so. If it's not, Notre Dame's probably going to do the same thing they did to Navy and blow them out and cover that total, and maybe Army gets a touchdown or two and helps you with the total. So yeah, low total kind of helps you a little bit. Just hoping that run game doesn't milk the clock like they did. I don't know how many weeks ago it was Army had that like 18 play drive, took up an entire quarter. I think it was like 14 minutes and 30 seconds on the drive. It took up the entire quarter. Hopefully none of those happen.
I'm feeling okay with that. We've watched Notre Dame's defense. They don't. You're either home run or bust against them. They're gonna shut you down in the run game.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who they were. I forgot who they were playing, but wild, almost an entire quarter just on the ground, milking clock. Just that defense must have just been
Yeah.
toast. I don't know how they did that, but yeah, I like the over in that one too. Um, for my third one, um, Kansas, Colorado. Kansas
Oh,
looking hot lately. No, I wouldn't say hot, but they have won two really, really good games and against pretty good teams. BYU is a top 15 team now. Kind of an ugly win, I think. I don't know if you saw in the second half. Jake threw a threw an interception in the end zone as time expired for the end of the half, and they ended up losing by 4. So that was kind of the turning point of the game, and they could never recover from that. Lost to Kansas in that one. Then Iowa State got beat up on by Kansas. I think I don't know if you picked that one or not. You might have.
No, I don't know. Did I have that game?
I think one of us had something.
I think you
Um,
might have had that
I think
game.
I might have Iowa State in that game.
Yeah, that would
Um,
sound right the way this month's
which with
gone.
yeah with or I mean an honorable mention or something. I could go back and check, but yeah, I had Iowa State -3, and that was the one of my missing game. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. That was the one of my missing game that I picked, and they didn't win. Um, so yeah, so kind of taking the hot team here. Obviously Colorado's doing their thing, but Kansas +3. I'm liking that one. They're at home. Lawrence is buzzing. So I'm going to take Kansas +3, which means I'm taking Colorado -3. Feel a little better. That one feels a little better than the Army pick, but still feel like Kansas could do it. But yeah, Colorado I think is probably the better team, but just kind of scary in a rowdy environment. I'm not sure what the weather could be like. Could be pretty bad. Nope, it's pretty good. It's okay. They're actually playing at Arrowhead Stadium. They're
Oh.
not playing in Lawrence. So big stadium, 58 degrees, 9 miles per hour. So nothing crazy. Good football weather. So that shouldn't be a factor. But yeah, I like Kansas, but picking Colorado -3.
Well, it shows why we've been struggling on this program. We are on the same wavelength this week. I also like this game a lot. Colorado playing great ball. Kansas also turned it around. Daniels has been much improved. He's been terrible. He was terrible to start this year, but they've been good. Big win against Iowa State, huge win at BYU. I think it's time for a letdown in Lawrence, though, even though, like you said, they're playing at Arrowhead. I like Colorado in this game, laying the 3 points. Watching Colorado against the best defense in the Big 12 absolutely eviscerated them. Utah could do nothing to stop Colorado's offense. I mean, they're hanging points on everybody 34, 34, 41, 49. I just think Kansas is going to have a really tough time to keep pace with Colorado. Kansas offense can get bogged down. We watched them. What they win that BYU game? 17. Yeah, 17-13. And, weather's going to be similar. It's going to be a little bit cold. They're not going to be able to throw the ball as much. I know Colorado's still going to be able to throw the football in that weather. We've seen Shadur. He's got an incredible arm talent on him. I wish Colorado ran the ball a little bit more because they're still not running the ball, but this defense has been king for them. They're pretty shitty in the secondary. Not going to lie, Shiloh Sanders should not be playing college football at the Division I level, but that defensive line under Warren Sapp, man, I don't know what it is. They got me jacked up. They are killing quarterbacks left and right. I think Daniels makes a mistake in this game. I think Colorado capitalizes, and Kansas just struggles to keep pace. I'm taking the Buffaloes -3 as well, so we can feel good about that one, or we're just going to both suffer horribly on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I really don't. It's just it seems
Colorado's got to
so
win the Big
bad.
12, right? We can't have shitty BYU in the playoff. Colorado's the team. They're going to
Right. I
get the
mean,
calls. We're going to
nobody
make
wants
sure.
nobody wants to see BYU nobody wants to see BYU in the playoff. I mean, I'd kind of like to, but I'm one of the very few that would. Um, as much as we don't like Deion Sanders and we just hate the way he talks and the way he conducts his program,
Tip the cap.
he's done a hell of a job. I mean, I don't know what to say. They've turned it around the last 2 years. I think they get 2 wins 2 years ago, and you know,
I think they
borderline
were
playoff
one.
team
I
now.
think they were one
Might
win
have been
maybe 2
one.
years ago. Yeah, they
So
just yeah, it's good. I said it though. The Big 12 fits this team. It's chaos. It's crazy. It's bad defenses. It's undisciplined. It's not the Pac-12 last year that buzzsaw they ran into.
and I think Colorado just got the number 2 recruit in the nation today
Yeah,
as
their
well.
quarterback, 5-star
Lewis, I
quarterback.
believe. Yeah, so they're picking up players now too. So they're starting to build something over there.
It's not going to
Um,
matter when Dion goes and coaches the Cowboys next year with
I
Shadur.
don't know. I just don't know what it would be like if a professional, and I mean especially the NFL, a professional team has a coach with their son at quarterback. I don't that doesn't feel right to me. It
But
didn't work with Doc Rivers and Austin Rivers really. So why would it work with the most important position in sports and the head coach being his dad? I don't
it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's entertaining, Scott. It's pure entertainment.
it's just I mean just as a if it works or not, but then it's just like the entertainment, just like kind of what you'd expect from Jerry Jones. He would do something like that.
This is true.
And
This is
with
very
his
true.
dementia, he would pull something off like that. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it would work. I think it'd just be like you said, just entertaining if anything. But I don't think it would work. I can't imagine it would.
All right. Give us your honorable mentions or maybe your dishonorable mentions this week if you're fading them.
Yeah, I mean, these are ones I do like. I'm not going to say I'm going to flip these, but Boise State, Wyoming over 57. I think Wyoming puts up, at least 17, and hopefully Boise and Ashton J&T do their thing and put up a whole bunch. LSU minus 7.5 against Vandy. It's in the swamp. This is actually one I consider doing the flip flop on because LSU's been so bad last couple weeks, but we're sticking with LSU in this one with 7 in the hook. This was also one I considered flip flopping. USC minus 4.5 against UCLA. Home field advantage doesn't really matter in that game. They're in the same city, and USC's been okay, but it's more of a. I think it's more of a toss up game than 4.5. So I would be okay flip flopping that game. And then Michigan minus 14.5 against Northwestern. This would have been a painful flip flop game for me. Rooting for Northwestern. I think they're playing at the big house too. Um, yeah, I think Michigan. I mean Northwestern. They're notoriously bad.
Yeah.
The last few years. I mean they've been good a few years, but the Northwestern name it's bad football. So I'd take Michigan minus 14.5 there.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's it for me.
For my honorable mentions, I actually like the over 36.5 in the Northwestern Michigan game. That's just such a low number. I mean, it's the bare minimum in the Big Ten. Alabama minus 13.5 at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's bad. Alabama's good. I think
Yeah,
Alabama's
I thought
another
about that
team.
one too. That was a
Alabama's another
decent
team
talent.
right in the thick of it in the playoff. They need to have impressive wins. I don't know who's going to win the tiebreaker in the SEC, but somebody's winning that tiebreaker. It should be interesting. I like Pitt plus 8.5 at Louisville. I think Pitt's actually went from being overrated to underrated again. They've been playing better, and Louisville's kind of just all over the place. I don't know what I'm going to get from Louisville week in and week out. And I do like BYU plus 3 at Arizona State. I think BYU bounces back. They get the undefeated streak over. I think they actually get this win there, even though it could all fall apart for the BYU Cougars. All right, Scott, what is your upset this week?
Well, I hate this pick, but I'm going to do it. Missouri, Mississippi State
Ooh,
in Starkville. Right now, it's actually plus 240. I literally looked at this game 2 hours ago after I got back from an errand, I guess you can call it. It was it's plus 240. It was 270 literally 2 hours ago. So it's looking
that's
like
good.
more people are betting on Mississippi State here. I think you've even said it. Their quarterback isn't terrible. And then was it Brady Cook? And that's the other quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
He's
hurt. Is he
fine.
playing? Yeah, is he
He's fine.
playing even?
If he's not even better, I'm not sure if
No,
he is or
no,
not.
he played last week. He played last week. He got hurt
Yeah,
2 weeks
I
ago.
figured he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just the game in Starkville, and they're not an amazing team. I like the number especially. 2-8's not good, but um, I just don't really care for this Missouri team anymore. They got shut out by Bama and barely beat Oklahoma team that has shown they're not capable of anything this year, and then got beat by South Carolina last week. So um, three straight three straight games that should have been. I guess they were dogs in all three of those games, to be honest. So um, I don't know. The 23 ranking doesn't look good next to their name with those last three games. So I'm taking Mississippi State money line plus. I got 270, but it's 240 now. So a little better value a little while
Ye
ago.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not Missouri, they're just not a good team. They were getting blown out against South Carolina. It was a valiant comeback, but of course it fell short. Mississippi State, they're due for one. They're not great, but they're due for one of these games. We keep kind of picking them and they keep letting us down. So should be Stark Vegas, kind of a weird place to play also. For my upset, this is an ACC matchup, basketball school. No, I'm just kidding. Duke plays football these days. The Duke Blue Devils 7-3 on the season, baby. Big season for Duke after losing their head coach and their quarterback. They got a letdown of a team, Virginia Tech, coming into town, and Virginia Tech's laying 3 in this game. Blue Devils plus 135 on the money line. I'm loving Duke in this one. Kind of a fade the public. 87% of the money's on Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's a sexy name. They have a good big name at quarterback. but they haven't been good. Losers of the last two, lost to Syracuse, lost to Clemson. Duke, they hit a little bit of a rough patch. They lost to SMU by 1 point. SMU could win the ACC. Lost to Miami. That game got kind of out of hand, but they were winning that game in the third quarter against Miami. So, and then one last week at NC State. I think Duke's a solid football team. I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to chew a lot of clock. They're big plays in the running game. And I think Virginia Tech's just going to have a tough time. They get bogged down in their offense. It's kind of weird with all the pieces they have on this offense. They just struggle to move the football some weekends. Like Clemson's defense isn't anything crazy, and they only scored 14 against them. Like it's weird. Georgia Tech 21 against them. These are kind of mediocre ACC teams, and they have bad performances. So I like Duke at home. It's basketball season. Maybe they'll have some basketball mojo going for them. I like the Blue Devils plus 135 and the upset.
Yeah, I don't mind the pick. It's a pretty close game. It's a toss up plus three, minus three, so more of a toss up game. Yeah, I don't hate this pick. They're at home. Virginia Tech has, I think they're kind of used to these early week games too. They've been playing the Thursday Friday games too. So not sure if that means anything. It might, but it probably doesn't for
Who
what I'm
knows?
seeing. So, uh, but yeah, do I do like the pick? Yeah, Duke's looking good this year. So.
All right, run back your picks and we will wrap it up.
All right, so first game, I'm taking Minnesota plus 11 and a half. Actually, I'm taking Penn State minus 11 and a half. I'm taking Notre Dame minus 14 and a half. No, I'm not taking the other way. And then I'm taking Kansas plus three. No, I'm not taking Colorado. Um, so yeah, take a Penn. Yeah, so Penn State, Army, Colorado, all against the spread there, and then Mississippi State plus 270 against Missouri.
Are we sure about the Mississippi State one?
No,
We sure?
nope, doing that one. That one's on a toss up. That's on a spread. So I got can't take the other side there. So
All right, I love it. The bit was great. My picks, I am taking Ole Miss minus 10 at Florida. I have Colorado minus 3 at Kansas. I got Army Notre Dame over 44 and a half, and I got Duke plus 135 at home in the upset against Virginia Tech. All right, that's going to do it for us this week. If you guys haven't already, drop a quick like on this video, hit that subscribe button for daily sports content. If you want to support the channel, sign up for a channel membership. You get all sorts of access to cool and exclusive videos, things to use for live streams throughout the year. If you want to check out one of these games live, head on over to SeatGeek.com. Use code AfterTheReview for $20 off your first purchase. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see y'all next week.